Hi everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be potting up a new tree. It's a root cutting or root sucker from a big, quite unusual maple tree that grows across the road. As far as I can tell, it's either Acer rubrum or Acer Cappadocicum. I'm not sure. Another name for it is a golden maple, possibly. But it's a beautiful tree, and I accidentally pulled up a root, accidentally on purpose. It was just growing all over the place, gets cut anyway, so I thought I would salvage it and we'll stick it in a pot and we'll see what happens. I might be able to get more than one tree out of the root, so I'll spin you around, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll put a couple of the names up, like the varieties, up in the corner there, just so you can look it up and see if I'm right or not. I'm not sure. So there it is, sat in my water butt at the moment. So you can see the leaves on it. It's quite an unusual looking maple, and in the autumn it goes beautiful yellow, really bright, sort of golden. So I'm thinking it's maybe the Acer rubrum, the golden maple, and it shoots off these roots all over the place and they just sprout. So what I'm thinking is, we've got a fair amount of root at the top here, so I can plant that bit, and then there's also roots down the bottom, so I could potentially cut that in half and make two trees, maybe. I'm not sure yet, I'm not 100% decided. Another thought I had was to just plant it in a tray, flat like that, and see what happens. But we'll see. So I'll bring it into the greenhouse and we'll have a better look at it, see what we can do. Right, so I've had another look online, and I think it's closer to the golden maple, the Acer Cappadocicum, if that's how you say it. I have no idea. Nice little leaves, and it's a beautiful tree. So I'm thinking, if I cut this off around about here, and I can plant it sort of like that, and then I can wire these two upwards a bit more, or three branches that we've got there, and then this bit I can just plant as it is. Maybe cut it about there or something, leave this bit sticking out the top of the soil. I know at the moment it's slightly inverse, but it shouldn't matter too much. Once these roots establish, it should start thickening the bottom, and hopefully we'll get branches come out here, because it does shoot all over the place from the root suckers. So that's what I'm going to do anyway. So I'll make a start. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to call it a golden maple for now, unless one of you guys knows better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and make two trees out of this. So you can see we've got a lot of sort of activity, bud sort of bits here. So I'm going to cut it above that, around about there. Oh, that's tough wood. And that's going to be one tree. I'm going to plant that just like that in a deep plant pot, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to put that in water for now. Just put that down in my bucket so it doesn't dry out. And this part of the tree, I'm fairly confident we've got plenty of roots on this for it to survive. So I'm going to plant it something like that, just for now. And then I'm going to wire these three branches upwards. Unfortunately I did damage this quite a bit here, so they may die off them too, but we'll at least have this one here. and we can work on the roots at a later date, but for now I'm not going to cut anything else. I'm just going to find a plant pot, I'm going to bury it up to about there, sort of leave some of that poking out the soil, and then put a piece of wire on to straighten these up a bit. And I probably won't actually. I was thinking I might have to cut some foliage off, but I think it should be alright. It hasn't shriveled up yet, and it's been in the water for a couple of days, so I'm fairly sure there's enough roots there to sustain what foliage is there. So I've got to find a pot. I've got some soil mixed up here, so all I'm using at the moment is just gritty compost. Quite a good variety of compost, just mixed with some grit that I found, which I've scraped out the bottom in the stream down the bottom, because I've run out of horticultural grit, which is what I normally use, but it's the same sort of thing. So I'll find a pot for this and we'll make a start. Okay, so I'm thinking this pot should be suitable for now, and I'm not sure really. Obviously I don't want the roots sticking out, I want it in, and I also want these ones in. Even though they're only small roots, they will help sustain the tree for now. So I can maybe plant it like this and then bend these up. Or we can just bury it deeper, find a bigger pot and bury it deeper. But I don't want any more roots to come up from here, I want them to be down there. So if I'll plant it like that, even if I don't wire it, we can just leave it until it recovers. But I think I will try and get it to grow upwards. I'm not sure if I might put a bit of wire on first. I'm just going to dunk these roots again, just to keep them wet. I've got a few bits of wire lying around the place. It's quite a tough trunk, so if we can wire it upwards like that, and these two. So I'm going to need 3 bits of wire probably. I've got some aluminium wire, or I've got some really tough copper wire, which might be better. Or 2 pieces of aluminium on here. So I'll just put one on for now and see what happens. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to have to wrap it around the face somehow. Or I could get it through there. So I'm going to put more than 1 piece of wire on, I think. Hopefully you can see. I'll take this one across to this other one. So it doesn't have to be particularly neat wiring. So I'll probably put another piece on. Get untangled. So I'll do the same again. So we've got 2 pieces on each tree, each shoot. Try and get them coiling around the same way. So I haven't had too much practice at wiring, so it may not be great, but it should do the job. Hopefully that'll be enough. If not, I'll figure something else out. That should be fine. It's just to encourage it to start growing a different direction for now. So I can plant it like that, and these two will be upright. And I will put a bit of wire on that one as well in a minute. That's not so bad. So that should be pretty good. Seems really flexible, so I'm not too worried about breaking it. So apply it like that in there. I might take a bit more off the end of this root, just so I can get it a bit more central in the pot. There's not that many roots growing down here, so cut that off. A fairly thick old bit of root. I could probably plant that as well. I might just bung it in somewhere, see what happens. So that's better. We'll get that planted. I've got my gritty compost. Fill this up most of the way. I've got two really decent roots here with nice fine roots come off them. We won't want these in the future, we may have to remove them, but for now they're probably the only thing keeping the tree alive, so all these roots are being saved for now. I'm not cutting any more off, so I think something like that should be good. Well, it should make quite an interesting tree at some point in the future. I do have a seedling as well from that same tree, so I'll take you out in a minute and I'll show you that. So the leaves are starting to come out on that as well. And that was just a little seedling. I've had it about 2 years. And I've also, I'll just show you quickly, I've been and collected a load more seedlings from this year. And I've just got a bit of sphagnum moss in the bottom there, and I've put some water in there. Because I've just collected these, I didn't want them to dry out or anything, so they're in there. So when you pull up little seedlings, you've got to be really careful that they don't dry out, because they will just shrivel up and die within a few hours sometimes. So that's that planted. I want to put another bit of wire on there, but it doesn't really matter at the moment. I might as well if I can find another piece. I've run out of new wire, so I'm just reusing old bits now, which is fine. There's no point throwing it away. So I've got all sorts of offcuts of wire which I've taken off of trees. I'm not too keen on wiring things, to be honest. It's a lot of, I don't know. I watch a lot of Nigel Saunders and doesn't use any wire, and his trees are amazing, so it just seems a bit unnatural to me to want to wire trees, but I know that's the main way you can shape trees. But it is what it is. People would choose to do whatever they want. So I will wire this piece. So it's kind of like 3 trees growing here. At some point we may be able to even chop down the middle of that root and separate the trees, or the shoots, or it may just be like a triple trunk tree. I'm assuming all these are going to survive, they might not. So there we go, and I can move this around, do what I want to it, put some movement in it. That'll do for now. I could wire these and move them around, but I don't even know if the tree's going to survive yet, so I don't want to do too much to it. So that's that one. So what I will do is just give it really good water, and then keep it really, really well watered. Keep it somewhere in the shade in the greenhouse so that it's well protected from the frost and it doesn't get burnt by the sun. If I just bung this straight out in the sun, it would probably suffer. And if the soil froze or frost got these new leaves, it wouldn't be so bad if it was well established, but it could damage it. So it will be kept frost free, away from the wind, away from the heat of the full sun, and hopefully that'll give it the best chance possible. So I'll get the other one out, find another pot for that. Okay, so I found a nice deep pot for this other root. I can't actually see the camera because of the sun. Oh, it should be alright. Hopefully you can see and you've got a good angle. So this is the other root. And it's got plenty of fine roots that should grow from this. And we've got all this sort of almost like bud points. But they're not, because they would have been where other roots and other little suckers have come up and been cut off at some point. So that's the piece I'm going to leave sticking out. I know it's got slight inverse taper here at the moment. It's not too bad actually. So we'll see what happens anyway. So I'll plant that in there nice and deep, get all these roots buried. And again, same with the other tree. Make sure it doesn't dry out at all. Make sure it doesn't get frost. And make sure it's not in the full heat of the sun. It's got a nice bit of movement anyway, so if this survives, it's the beginnings of a nice tree. I'll just fill the soil around. Just about got enough. I'm not going to press it, I'm going to tap it to shake it down, because if I press it I might rip some of them fine roots off. So I'll let the water do the work now. The water will settle it around the roots, and I can adjust the angle if I want, but it doesn't matter. I just want to try and get it to grow. I'm not interested in anything else at the moment. That can all be later on, in years to come. This time next year I'll put it out of the pot again. I need a little bit more soil. Still got a few roots exposed there. So I'll have to go and grab a handful. I'll just leave you on for now. This hasn't got any grit in it, but it's fine. Water that in, And like I said, moisture's the key. Because it's got not many roots, you don't want it to lose any moisture. So I could cover it with some sort of greenhouse thing, but I'm not going to, because it's quite humid in my greenhouse, and every day I will come along and water the foliage and keep it moist in here. They'll be out of the direct sun. They won't get frosted. So that's them two potted up, them two roots. Keep you updated. I've got another little piece of root here. So what I will actually do, because why not, is I'll just put that in here, on the side of this pot, and you never know. I'll just light it flat for now. I'll just bury it completely. And we'll see what happens. You might get a shoot come up. If not, there's no loss. So I'll just take you out and show you my other golden maple that I've got outside, my seedling. Give you one last look at these. Last little look at the leaves, just in case anyone can ID them 100% for me. And we'll head back outside and I'll show you my seedling. So this is a seedling from the same tree. So if anyone knows exactly what it is, it's a really nice little tree. It's got the beginnings of a really nice little tree. I've done some root work when I've potted it up into here, and that's just how it grew. Nice shape in the trunk. I'm not keen on it being a V shape at the top here, so yeah, but we don't need to worry about that at the moment. At some point I can probably just cut that whole bit off. We've got plenty of growth down here. So that's that. Everything else is really starting to spring to life now. Just show you a few more things in the greenhouse before we go. That Japanese maple that I've potted up recently is really romping away now. So I know that I probably need to prune it, but I don't want to at the moment, because I want all this foliage that's growing now is going to be helping these roots to establish in this pot. So if I started chopping away at the top, it's not good for the tree. So it's good to let it grow. Let it grow. Don't worry too much, let it grow. You can sort things out later on. That's the juniper. It's looking lovely and green now. It actually seems to have perked up since I did the root pruning. It's probably the better soil, to be honest. I don't know what it was in before, just garden mud. And my Japanese maple forest's looking good, except for one tree. It's hard to get there to show you, but there is one tree which is sulking. You can see it there. The leaves start shriveling up. But never mind, if we lose one out of, how many did we put in there? 7. That's fine. Actually saying that, the tree's probably still alive, because there is new leaves which are not shriveled. So I'll leave it for now and we'll see what happens. Everything else in here is looking good. My little maple that we put in my homemade pot looking good. The hornbeams, all that I've repotted recently. Don't think we've lost any. The wisteria. Empress trees. They're really growing away now. I'm going to chop the top of that one off soon. I want to keep them small. Even the Japanese maple cuttings are still going, they're not dying yet. We'll see how they go. I fully expect most of them to die off, but I'm hopeful they won't. Oh, and there's one other tree which I pulled out the other day, which is just a sycamore maple with a really twisty trunk, so you know, not ideal for bonsai, but yeah, they still look nice in pots. And back to the ones that we just done. Alright everyone, so thanks so much for watching, hope you enjoyed. So everything's really romping away like now, everything's growing like crazy. Trying to keep everything watered. We're in a bit of a drought in the UK. We haven't had rain since the beginning of March and it's now almost halfway through April, so about 5 or 6 weeks we haven't had rain, which is just practically unheard of here because we're a wet country. Let's put it that way. One other thing I wanted to say is there's a new guy to the bonsai YouTube world called Mike, and his channel is Mike's Backyard Bonsai, and he seems quite good. He's got a fair few trees. He started out like me with lots of salvage trees and seedlings and garden centre material, so he seems to be doing all right. He's quite good at putting together videos and stuff, so you might want to go check him out. So I'll put a link to his channel below. If you could subscribe to me, subscribe to him if you like to, leave a comment and stuff. Thanks everyone, that'd be great. And I'll see you all on the next one. Hope you're all good. See you later.